heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man, so I see David Price has accepted the challenge, and he says he wants a piece of Povetkin. We know Eddie Hearn he's trying to get Povetkin on the undercard, and two names that he put out there for possible opponents, David Price and Derek Chisora. I actually did a video about this yesterday, but today Price came out and said, hey, he wants to fight. And in the article that I read on Boxing Scene, and I'll try to leave it in the description box for you guys, you can click it, read it, come to your own surmise about it. But he even said that he understands that he will be a huge underdog in this fight. So I'm glad that he, is accepting reality as far as what a lot of fans think and a lot of the media and pundits and things like that. But as a fighter, you're supposed to set that to the side, what other people think about what you can or cannot do in the ring. So I applaud him for stepping up and, accepting the challenge, especially when your name's being thrown out there. But besides all that, though, man, I think this is a huge mismatch. If David Price were to somehow upset Povetkin, I can say the last 15 years, if he were to do that, this would be a top 5 upset at the heavyweight division, even probably higher than that. I have to sit down and really think of a list, but off the top of my head, I'll say in the last 15 years, this would be a top 5 type of upset. Price, not only, do I question his chin because he's been stopped in all of his losses, just his stamina overall. Now, his last fight he had with Solokowski, he got to go tooth and nail in that fight. You know what I mean? He was using his jab, trying to, he was being elusive, trying to, work the jab, move, pivot. He was fighting with his hands down. Almost looked like Tyson Fury in there, like he was trying to duplicate Tyson Fury. But, man, he was gassed at the end of that fight. Solokowski looked like he could have won a few more rounds. And I know Solokowski is a journeyman guy, but he's a tough journeyman. He's one of them guys that'll give a guy like Price, who's trying to work his way back into the mix, suffer some stoppage losses. Guys like that and up-and-coming prospects, he'll give you the full 8 rounds, the full 6 rounds, Solokowski. So I wasn't surprised that it went the full distance, and he made it kind of tough for Price. I wasn't surprised. But this is a mismatch. Now, if I'm Team Povetkin, I'm jumping all over this opportunity because I believe Eddie Hearn is trying to set up. First, Joshua has to get past Parker. Like I said, it's not written in stone that happens easy. But, again, I'm favoring Joshua by decision. But I think he's trying to set up Joshua to fight Povetkin. Povetkin is rated high by the WBO. Well, he just beat Christian Hammer. Christian Hammer was #1 by the WBO, so he knocked him off, and Povetkin is rated #1 by the WBA. I know Manuel Char has their WBA regular title, so and Joshua, he's trying to build up his resume. He's trying to take care of the old guard, right? He beat Klitschko. Now he's trying to circle the block and try to knock off Povetkin also. And Povetkin, like I said, he's just working his way up, man, into these sanctioning bodies and trying to get mandatory status. So if I were them, I would jump all over the David Price fight. Jump all over it, man, because then in that way, this could be a showcase fight for him in front of a UK crowd. His last 2 fights wasn't spectacular performances, although he did get the victory. Like I always say, you're not going to knock out everybody. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to look spectacular in every fight. So he had to carve out some workmanlike performances against Hammer and against Rudenko. Both of those guys are durable guys, Christian Hammer and Rudenko, in my opinion. Rudenko's never been knocked out. He fought tough against Lucas Brown, had fights with Huey Fury, so he's a durable type of guy. Christian Hammer was on the road. He actually beat David Price. He got dropped in a fight. See, that's the thing with David Price. He can hurt guys, but if guys get up and can push him to mid to late rounds or somewhere in that, he just looks exhausted, man, just totally gassed, and I'm not sure he can fix his stamina problems, so, from a fan's point of view, I'm just not sure if he can fix it at this stage, man, but, yeah, like I said, he beat Christian Hammer, Povetkin did, and Hammer was the guy that was on the road. He beat Erkin Tepper, he beat David Price, so it was a good win for Povetkin, but this right here will leave a lasting impression on the fans' mind if he goes in there and sparks David Price, then we'll be talking about him the same way we were talking about him after the Johan Duhaupas fight. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm Povetkin and his team, I'm jumping all over this one, all over it. But from a fan's point of view, though, I think it's easy work, and I would much rather see the Derek Chisora fight. Chisora was a guy that was being mentioned also to fight Povetkin, and it's funny because Chisora has done a lot of sparring with Povetkin. That's another reason why I want to see it, because of the style clash. I know Chisora has in my opinion, he has a better chin than Price. I think his stamina's better. He's going to come to bang. He's not, you know, they're not going to have to go looking for each other in that ring. They're going to go, you know, they'll find each other rather easily. But they've been sparring a lot. I know that Chisora and Brian Jennings were preparing Povetkin. I actually did videos about it. They're preparing Povetkin for his fight with Stavern. We know that fight got taken off the plate, and he ended up fighting Johan Duhaupas. But for that training camp, Chisora was out there, and he was out there for another training camp with Povetkin. So they've been sparring over the last few years, very familiar with each other. So that's why, you know, that's one of the other reasons I like to see that fight. But if I'm Team Povetkin, I'm jumping all over this one. Let's look spectacular. You know, I know Povetkin's getting up there in age, 38. Shit, Price is in the spring chicken. He's 34, with 34, 35. I know he's a big guy, but I just see him panicking on the inside with a guy like Povetkin. And I think Povetkin can give him a run for his money as far as standing on the outside and boxing with him. I know Price is the taller, rangier guy, but Povetkin can be patient on the outside. He can peck away with his jab, move his head, keep his guards up. He can parry your shot and then come back with his shots. You know, so just my quick opinion on this. If I'm Team Povetkin, I'm jumping all over it. But like I said, I would way rather see the Chisora fight. I think it's more competitive. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm gone.